Welcome everybody to a legendary courtroom episode of Lockdown 23 and 1. That's right, man. Look, I know some of y'all got kids, or maybe you yourself collect Pokemon cards, sports cards, or anything like that, right? Well, you know, those cards, you can always tell which ones is the nicer one because of all the holographic designs, lightning, fire, stuff like that. While the other cards are just basically they have the picture of the person, that's it. Anyways, okay, so let's take all the videos that I've done on YouTube, a couple thousand or so, just spread them across the table like a deck of Pokemon cards, and I can guarantee today's episode would probably stand out more than any other. If it was a card, it would have lightning, smoke, fire, raining, hail, everything put into one. It would stand out amongst all the others. The clip's very short though. Okay, it's only about 2.5 minutes long. I could have added a few more videos or stories to this one, but I just wanted to dedicate it solely to the 60 Days In former Sheriff Mr. Jamey Noel, who was on the hit TV show 60 Days In on A&E. But Mr. Jamey Noel somehow caught himself on the other side of the law now. He's out on bond for some charges. I've already dedicated a whole video to it. I'll give you a little rundown before we watch the clip. But while being on bond, he messed up a bit, and he's going to get sentenced for it today. And the way that the judge hands out the sentence is unlike anything I've ever seen, man. Terrifying. Would have scared the socks and drawers off me if I was in the courtroom. So let's get right into it. If you enjoy this type of content, all things lockup and crime related, then this is where you want to be. Hit that like, subscribe, notification bell before you leave, and check out my playlist with many more videos for you to start watching today. It says here, since Indiana State Police investigation began in June 2023, investigators allege Noel, who served as sheriff from 2015 to 2022 and leads the Utica Township Firefighters Association and New Chapel EMS. Man, he had his fingers into all kinds of stuff, huh? He hired county employees to do work for his personal interests, used a business credit card for private purposes, and falsified documents to help an officer receive unauthorized pension funds. I mean, I could keep on reading. The list of stuff that he's accused of doing is quite a bit. And I'll keep a link pinned in the comment section below if you want to go read some more on it. But he's doing a lot of fraudulent activity. And he's out on bond right now for all this stuff. But every bond comes with conditions. And in today's episode, it says that Sheriff Jamey Noel was found in contempt of court after multiple guns were found in his home in violation of his bond conditions. He ain't getting sentenced today for any of his mainstream activities, just violating his bond conditions. So let's go ahead and put on our khakis, fresh pressed, and a button up. We got a judge to impress. Man, I'm scared to press play. I've already seen it, but I'm still scared again.
I told Mr. Noel, don't do anything stupid. Do not try to deceive me, defy me. You will not like the consequences.
That's right.
Today is that day. You are not the law. You don't interpret the law. You don't enforce the law. You're not above the law. I find that you are in contempt of this court. Take him into custody. No, that's enough. I'll find you guys in contempt for disrupting the proceedings, and you'll be there right there with him. Now, what is an appropriate sanction? The question is, I can sentence him up to 180 days without a trial, or I can sentence him to a day, or I can release him. You know what I think the answer is? 60 days in. That's what I think the answer is today. Now, Mr. Wilder.
Yes, Your Honor.
Or Mr. Voiles. I apologize, Mr. Voiles, your lead. Before he is released, I'll take your suggestion. I want an independent individual to scour that household to determine that there's no further weapons. I find it Mr. Ertle's original argument that he was trying to make that I sustained, an officer of the law, every time I go into court, I hear, I didn't know it was there. I didn't know it was there. I really didn't. You've heard that a million times. You've heard it a million times, and you still take them into custody, would be my guess. Every officer in the world has heard, I didn't know it was there, it's my friends. I'm not buying it. It was your burden, it's your responsibility, and today the court will enforce that. Take him away.
Man, he went straight to Smokeville, didn't he? Yep, we're going to talk a little bit more about it in a second. But first, let's jump into this little courtroom analysis. Ain't much to work with here, but a judge really doesn't need anything but justice. And as you can see, it's in full effect. He's got the gamble, anvil, gavel, whatever you like to call it. And of course, the highlighter for all the years they're going to be getting. Deer Park, yeah right, I know White Lightning when I see it. Possible sun kiss here for a sip in between cases. Red Solo Cup, man, rest in peace, Toby Keith. He's still got the 1992 Radio Shack mics, unreal. And I don't know if that's ancient white dyed birch or trailer park particle wood. It doesn't matter, it goes good with justice. But we're not done yet, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, I'm standing once again. We're going to be like this probably for the next few months. Got to change it up sometimes or else I'll be stuck in sitting position with all the content I bring your way. But anyways, like I said, we're not done yet, all right? I am actually going to go down a list of things that this guy's being accused of. Not to mention show you a couple other clips because not only him, but his wife and his daughter got hemmed up. And I got clips of them in court too. So let's jump into old Jamey Noel's diabolical schemes. It says family members of former Clark County Sheriff Jamey Noel are seeking to reopen his brother's estate, claiming Noel kept thousands of dollars for himself and daughter instead of his brother's children. Man, oh man, you know, that is just the bottom of the barrel right there. Unreal, right? That guy trusted you to give out his trust fund or whatever he had going on to his kids. But his brother, as soon as he passes away, probably had totally different dreams for that money. What's even more sickening is that he was a sheriff of a jail. But it says the heirs of Leon Noel, Darian Taylor, and Jack Noel filed a petition in Clark County Friday to reopen their father's estate on the grounds that Jamey Noel defrauded them out of a portion of their inheritance. The petition claims that at least $52,000 never made its way to the heirs. Under Indiana law, the amount awarded in the case can be up to 3 times the value of the funds wrongfully taken. I like that though, you know, you want to steal someone's stuff, you're going to have to pay it back triple. It says Dorian, Taylor, and Jack trusted their uncle Jamey to take care of them and treat them fairly. Unfortunately, he did not do that. Instead, he sought to wrongfully enrich himself and his daughter at the expense of his nephews and niece. In an interview with the News, Whitley, the attorney, says all 3 children received a contribution from the estate, but neither received the full sum they were entitled. Jamey Noel has been under investigation by Indiana State Police since last June. The investigation expanded in recent months to include his wife and daughter, Misty and Casey Noel. Man, first and foremost, I apologize to any Misties out there, but I don't trust none of y'all as far as I could throw you. I'm just playing, man. Misty's a beautiful name. Casey, too, reminds me of the Ninja Turtles. Jamey faces 25 felony charges, and Misty, his wife, faces 10. And of course, they're pleading not guilty. Now, the daughter, Casey Noel, was arrested on 5 different felony charges.
Do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And do you understand the potential penalties?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
In February, ISP, Indiana State Police Lieutenant Jeffrey Herron, the lead investigator on the case, released court documents outlining Noel's actions as an executioner of his brother's estate. Herron obtained tax, bank, and property records for the home Casey owns in Jeffersonville. Keep in mind, Casey is Jamey's daughter. A subpoena for mortgage records revealed that the home was previously owned by William Leon Noel, Jamey's deceased brother and Casey's uncle. Why would she get the house and not the nephews or nieces? It makes no sense, right? Leon died in December 2018 and Jamey was appointed executioner of his estate. The home was sold to Casey in April 2019 for $180,000. As executioner, Jamey gifted Casey $36,000 of equity. Wheatley believes the home was undervalued and could have sold at a higher price. After the mortgage was paid, closing expenses were deducted and Casey was gifted the $36,000. Herron states a check for $25,000 was issued to the estate of William Leon Noel, and the check was deposited into the bank account controlled by Jamey. Bank statements and canceled checks show that Jamey used $8,000 from the estate account to pay a construction company for work on another home Leon owned for the purpose of flipping. There were also 2 other payments of $8,000 linked to the UTVFA, American Express account used for basement work on the other home. and UTVFA stands for Utica Township Volunteer Firefighters Association. Jamey was running that and an EMS squad. So like I said in the beginning, this guy had his hands in all the kind of law enforcement type of things around in the area. He probably thought to himself he ran that town. He was king of that county. If I were to guess, a lot of sheriffs think like that, even if they're not doing any dirt. All that power can really go to a person's head. But after funneling money through the UTVFA American Express account, according to court documents, Jamey wrote himself a check for $16,000 for a basement reimbursement. However, he did not provide any personal payment. He instead charged the UTVFA for the basement payments and profited $16,000. Jamey Noel is facing 25 felony charges, including counts of theft, tax evasion, corrupt business practices, ghost employment, and official misconduct. He ain't gonna be able to duck all 25 of them janks. The ISP investigation began in 2023 following allegations that Noel directed jail staff to work on his personal property and run his personal errands while on county time. His wife, Misty Noel, is facing 10 felony counts for theft and 5 counts of tax evasion. Both pled not guilty. According to the previous court documents, Heron found millions of dollars of personal purchases made by each of Utica Township Volunteer Firefighter Association credit cards. He also stated that they failed to disclose income on their taxes over a 5-year span. You can't duck old Uncle Sam, man. It's much better to owe him than hide from him. Documents show that Casey Noel spent over $100,000 on personal items and services. She was arrested as well and charged March 8th. The investigation also uncovered Jamey fathered a child with former Clark County Councilwoman Brittany Fear and paid his dusty child support payments with UTVFA funds. Man, that guy's greasier and slicker than my oil pan. Honestly, I don't even have an oil pan or know how to change oil. Don't y'all damn mechanics attack me now. I'm still a man. Just because I don't know how to change my oil doesn't make me any less. I know how to make a shank real quick on the fly. I'm just playing, but I'm not playing about the oil. I don't even know the first step to doing it. All I know, there's a little cork up there somewhere you got to unscrew, man, and be ready. It goes on to say that Jamey Noel's vast automobile collection. Wow, I wonder how many he's got. He must have been a fan of Jay Leno. But his automobile collection has been under scrutiny by investigators since the beginning of the investigation. They want a piece of them cars. Oh, man, they're coming for all of them. According to court documents, 133 vehicles were registered to the Utica Township Volunteer Fire Department. How does a volunteer fire department got 133 whips? That's unreal, man. They got to be saving millions of people with that fleet. A review of those vehicles showed several were inconsistent with not-for-profit fire department and EMS business. Jamey's accused of orchestrating a vehicle trading and selling scheme where he traded in several cars registered to the UTVFA for vehicles he then registered to himself for personal use. Yeah, man, in some cases he sold them and pocketed the money. And it wraps up the article by saying court documents released in early March indicated 26 containers of military surplus equipment belonging to the Clark County Sheriff's Office were found on a property in Deputy, which is a town in Indiana, I'm guessing. It gets a little confusing when we're talking about sheriffs, but they're doing dirt in a town called Deputy. Heron alleged that Noel sold multiple items belonging to the sheriff's office and sold them for personal gain as well. Wonder what he was selling, like riot shields, shock batons, maybe some bulletproof vests. This dude's so greasy, man. He probably saved money, pinched pennies by going to lunch and eating an inmate's tray. Pocket that lunch money, you know, just like he did everything else. I don't know, this case is absolutely wild, and I can't wait to see the end results. But like I said already, this episode was very refreshing. I love to see a former official in the system get smoked by the system appropriately. And can you imagine how he's feeling seeing that his wife and daughter's getting hemmed up as well? I mean, he has to feel like a 100% failure. Mr. Let Me Down should be his name in jail. But I'm out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. I got plenty more content coming your way. And as always, y'all be easy, be safe, and stay free.